Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. I always feel a little weird coming back on here and saying like, hey to everybody when I know, I'm pretty sure there's a good chunk of you that just watched me on my training. And they're like, I already said hi, Bree. But I also know that there's some of you that don't check out the trainings, but only come for the Q&A. So I want to say hi. So, hey, good morning. Yes, we're a little late. We're 10 minutes late because, well, I was late to my training and then I ran over. So it's, I always say it's Monday, right? I blame Monday, even though that's the only day I do these for you guys. Anyway, as always, we're going to give everyone a few minutes to jump on in. Hi, Mark. Hi again. So as you guys are jumping in, go ahead and start posting your questions while I just kind of shoot the breeze and kill some time. Let's see. I wanted to open a few notes I took this week on some questions I was getting in the Facebook group. Hi, Stacy. And let's see, where did I put them? I love when I try to be proactive, right? I was like, I'm going to put all of these questions in one place so they're easy to find when Q&A session comes. And then I'm like, where was that safe place? Does anyone else do that? Like I do that with physical stuff too. Like I'll get a letter in the mail. I'm like, I don't want to lose this. I better put it in this safe place, super safe place that I've never used before. And so I'm going to forget. Yeah, that's also me. So, let's see. All right. Oh, that's what I forgot what I was doing. I'm opening this question thing. So good. You guys Wendy started asking questions. All right. Well, we'll get started. As you guys jump in, go ahead and please put your questions in the comments. Post your questions so I can help you guys out. I do have a few updates I can share with you guys if I have time to kill, but I really, really do want to answer your questions first. So when he says, what schedule do you use for virtual currency? So this is good, Wendy, because let me tell you guys, so I am a cryptocurrency expert. I have been for a few years. Went down that rabbit hole back in 2000-something, 17 maybe, because it was really interesting. Really, I took a whole bunch of courses on it. We have some clients, who deal with it. And it was great and still do. Not a lot has changed. I mean, things are worth more, but the IRS has not come out with any guidance that changed things, much. So it's still pretty much the same to record. But the reason, if you are in cryptocurrency, if you are invested in cryptocurrency, and you definitely want someone helping you out, because the problem is that the guidance, so start with what schedule do you use for virtual currency? It goes on your Schedule D, Wendy. So it goes on the same schedule that your brokerage sales, right? When you have like a Merrill Lynch or a Fidelity account, right? And you buy and sell stocks, right? Not buy, sell. When you sell stocks, right? You get a 1099B from your brokerage, from your brokerage house, your fund house. And then you take that 1099B information and you put it into your tax return, and it goes on to Schedule D with the 8949 support. Cryptocurrency reported the exact same way. However, you do not get a beautiful 1099B that makes this job easy for you. And what you're stuck doing is pulling all of your buys and sells from all the different platforms you're on and putting them all into a spreadsheet or some sort of database that you use and figuring out, okay, you have the sales, but which ones did you sell? And there is no IRS guidance that says like first in, first out, or any way to say like which transactions are specifically being sold. So you do have some flexibility for some tax planning and tax savings to sell off ones that are more advantageous to you in this tax year, but definitely something that I would consult a tax specialist with, and not just anyone, one that specializes in cryptocurrency. This part is not super complicated, but again, it's time consuming and it can get a little messy, and you gotta, and when you do your return and you've decided which cryptocurrency transactions are not being sold, you have to have a way to track that, right? So you're not selling the same ones over and over and over again. That sounds complicated as hell, as I'm telling you, and it is. So And it's just kind of a hot mess because, like I said, there's no guidance, there's no forms that make this easy. All right. So I didn't skip you, Mark, but I'm going to come back. Jess says, when you say cryptocurrency, does that include Bitcoin? And do you only have to report it if you are withdrawing money versus if it's just sitting in the account and you haven't taken anything out? Great question, Jessica. There we go. So yes, when you're buying cryptocurrency, nothing happens. All right. There's no taxable event when you're buying cryptocurrency, just like when you're buying funds off the stock market. There's nothing from a tax perspective that happens. It happens when you start selling it. So when you start selling the cryptocurrency and making withdrawals, that's when you have a taxable event. And that's when you need someone to help you out and make sure you're doing everything right. Because right now, there's not much guidance. I don't know how much the IRS is really monitoring this or auditing these, knock on wood, but it's going to come, you guys, especially with the huge year that Bitcoin is having or had. It's 2021. It's been it's been going up. It's becoming more popular again. It's going to happen. So making sure you're recording it correctly from the get-go is a must. The only exception I want to talk about right here, and I don't want to get too much into crypto because I don't know, who really wants to hear, but I do want to say that if you receive crypto, right, for offering goods or services or as pay for something, then you do have a taxable income at that point. Okay, just like if you get paid for any other job in cash. All right. So there could be a taxable event when you receive cryptocurrency, but if you're just buying it, okay, it's nothing. It's just like I said, it's just like buying, stocks or mutual funds through Fidelity or, I have the hiccups, Merrill Lynch. All right. So Mark's hiding me. Okay. So Mark says, question is, PPP 1, we did 8 weeks right at the start. Okay. Employee count actually went up 1 during the covered period. Okay. By fall and end of year headcount went down a few. Okay. The SBA forgiveness app talks about your headcount at time of forgiveness application. Yeah. Would we be okay having the same headcount during the covered period? They made that so ridiculously complicated. Because they did not continue to use the same language, right? And so the answer to your question, Mark, is yes. If you're using the 8-week covered period and you had the right amount or more at the end of the covered period, you're fine. You can fill out whichever form is easiest for you, depending on how much your loan amount was. And I can talk about that. I do want to talk about that just a little bit today, the different forms that came out, because I haven't talked to you guys about that yet. What was this? Oh, but yes, you've completed Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor. The original reason that I think they put that in there that says at the time of forgiveness, what Jamie and I think was going through their heads is if you took a 24-week covered period, right? But at the end of the 24 weeks, you knew you weren't going to have full FTE count. So you applied early. And when you applied early, you had it. I think that's what that wording, where it derives from, is that they were trying to make it so you could still get that satisfied FTE, even if you didn't have it at the end of the covered period. Such a hot mess, though. Yes. So intention was to keep people employed and off unemployment. Yes. And there are a number of safe harbors, you guys, safe harbor pieces in place that help to make sure that you are that make it easier, to not have to worry about FTE count. That's actually part of, I'll talk about it at the end for those of you that missed the end of the training, but we do have a YouTube channel, y'all. And on Wednesdays, we drop new content, like 5 to 10 minute bite-sized pieces. And we've actually, the next however many weeks, I think like month, is all about PPP based on what just came out 2 weeks ago. So definitely something to check out if you are a PPP borrower. Mark says, been waiting for the famous one-pager, still pending with Bank of America. That is so odd to me because I would think these big banks would be on top of this. So I do want to talk to you guys real quick about the 3 new forms that came out and just some guidance on which form you guys should be using. Definitely keep putting your questions in the Q&A. I will answer them, but I do want to just kind of take a little pivot to PPP forms. Forgiveness. So there are 3 forms out. They came out on the 19th of January. There is the 3508S, got my numbers. There's the S, which is for anybody with a loan under $150,000, okay? So if your loan is under $150,000, whether you think you're gonna get full forgiveness or not, doesn't matter. You're gonna use the 3508S, okay? And then for my loans over $150,000, there is the 3508EZ, which is if you have full forgiveness, if you satisfied FTE count, you satisfied the waive reduction requirement, or you satisfy a safe harbor that keeps you, that protects you from those counts, then you can fill out the EZ. Then there's the 3508, the normal one. It's terrible. It doesn't look terrible, guys. It's like 3 pages and then a Schedule A and then a Schedule A worksheet. So when you look at it, you're like, doesn't look any worse than the other ones, but all those calculations and having to do all that it is a hot mess. It is a hot mess, and I don't recommend it to anyone. So if you are looking at your PPP forgiveness situation and you're like, nope, I have to fill out the full form, get a professional to help you, because 1, they may figure out that you don't have to fill out the full form and save you some time and money. Or 2, they're going to be able to do it correctly and right and save you a ton of hours and time. All right. Stacy says, did you guys find out if there's a way to separate 2 locations if one opened in 2020 to apply for PPP? 2, we have sales expense separated for both stores now. I actually have a meeting with Jamie. We were supposed to meet last week, and something came up on her because this is one of those areas that when you read, it's like, nope, like it's based on EIN, but there's some area in there that I feel like is very gray and could be open for interpretation and could help you here, Stacy. But we kind of want to talk about, like, what does that risk look like? See if there's been any, there won't be any case studies, but see if there's been any recent development or activity from like the AICPA, our governing agencies, to see if they're going to get any clarification on this, because right now there's not. Right now it's like, nope, you can't do it. Like, it's based on EIN. But like I said, there's a few sentences and a few pieces of wording in there that, like, is there a way we can get around this? There might be. So there's hope. It's a little hope. It's this big, but it's there. It's not closed yet. So that said, side note, Stacey, like I have a whole thing for you later this week coming your way. Guys, I hope Stacey is a client of ours. She is awesome. She owns you're in is it Loveland, Stacey? She's in Colorado. Stacey, put your plug in here because we got lots of Colorado people. Go visit her coffee shop. I'd love to say I'm drinking her coffee, but she's too far away from me. Anyway, all right. So good on, okay, questions. What was the other piece I wanted to talk about? Oh, I wanted to talk about the second round of PPP. Okay, so at the end of December, guidance came out that said they're going to reopen PPP loans. First borrowers, so if you did not borrow money back in 2020, anytime between April and I think August, you can get a first round under the exact same rules, okay? Meaning it's, excuse me, it's going to be based off you can base off 2019 or 2020 payroll, whichever makes more sense to you and your business. Keeping in mind there's still going to be FTE requirements to satisfy, okay? But you can take your PPP loan, first round draw, with just you have to certify that your business was negatively affected by COVID. Okay, so there we go. Colorado Coffee Company in Loveland. Love you. You're awesome. You're patient. I appreciate it. Sorry, squirrel. I'm going to leave that up on the board for those of you in Colorado. And then, sorry, PPP. So first round, you can just go. And those opened, the SBA opened the 11th. January 11th is when they said they would open portals to smaller banks. And then for second round borrowers, you guys, so if you borrowed a first round already and now you have a second one, there are some caveats to getting a second round. First, you have to have spent all of your money from your first round of PPP. Okay, you do not have to apply for forgiveness. You do not have to have been granted forgiveness yet, nothing like that. You just have to certify that, yes, I've spent all my money for my first loan. The other piece is you have to prove a 25% decrease in your gross revenue. This decrease can be for the whole year. So, I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. So run your P&L for all of 2020, run it for 2019. And if your gross revenue, right, gross meaning before expenses and costs, is 25% or more, if it is decreased by 25% or more, you qualify to take the second round. If it doesn't, then your next step is going to be to break it down by quarter and do a quarter by quarter comparison to see if you can find any single quarter within 2020 that satisfies that 25% decrease in gross sales. All right. So you're going to compare first quarter of 2020, first quarter being 1/1/20 through 3/31/20, compared to that same period of 2019. If that doesn't work, you're going to go to second quarter, which is April 1st to June 30th. You're going to compare that 2020 to 2019. If that doesn't work, you'll go to third quarter, and that's July 1st to September 30th. And if that doesn't work, you're going to look at fourth quarter. But don't just stop at the year comparison, you guys, because there are a lot of people who weren't down for the whole year, but they can pick out a quarter from the year. And as long as you have one quarter where your receipts are down, you can apply for the second round. All right. So important thing to note here, you guys, is that if you're borrowing over $150,000, you do have to show that proof of 25% decrease in order to get your application, submit your application. If your loan is less than 150, the SBA is not requiring that you submit that. However, I have yet to see a bank that's not asking for that calculation, because I think they want to just cover their butts, right? So they are asking you to say, okay, which quarter are you comparing? Give me your 2020 numbers, give me your 2019 numbers, just so they know that you're going to be qualified. Okay. And then the same spending rules apply. Okay. So you have to spend at least 60% on payroll. Okay. You can spend the whole amount on payroll. Okay. But you have to spend at least 60%. And then whatever is left, if you don't have, if you can't spend 100% on payroll, then you can spend that other portion on basically everything now. And I don't want to say, basically all operating expenses. Okay. So it used to be that you had to spend it on, let's see if I can remember, payroll, right? You still have that requirement, but the other portions could be spent on business mortgage interest, business rent, business utilities, or business interest expense. Now they've expanded that to include your PPE equipment, they give very specifics, but the one that pretty much is a catch-all for all of your is operating expenses. They say you can spend the remaining money on operating expenditures. So basically, you guys, so that's anything that you pay out of pocket to run your business. Okay. So cost of goods, cost of services, your software that you use to, operate your business. What it does not cover, guys, is expansion. All right. So if you're like, well, I want to go buy another office, or I want to buy a building, that's not a normal operating expense. Okay. So normal operating expenses, but that really, really opened it up. All right. Really opened it up. All right, Stacy, sorry. Got to take yours down now because Mark has a question. So Bank of America has to send us an email that allows us into our portal to apply for PPP2. Still waiting. Supposed to be easier with same place yes, it is supposed to be easier to go through the same company. Do you think it will run out of funding? And should I hurry to a Bluevine or Lendio? Lost trust in Bank of America. So no, I do not think it's going to run out anytime soon. Okay. That could change. And usually by now, Jamie's given me a report update on the spending, but on Friday, and you might've been there, Mark, you guys, on Friday, Jamie shared a graphic that said out of the $280 something billion that they have for PPP loans, okay, this second time around, 35 billion had been funded out. Okay. That's not to say that over this next couple of weeks, there's going to be a big influx because things are going to start actually getting approved. That also said, Mark, Bank of America is supposed to be one of the, I feel like they were on that list of like top lenders. So interesting that they're ignoring you. That said, I think Bluevine is open. I don't know if Lendio is open yet. As of last Friday, PayPal was not open yet, but that all could change this week. So if they're not helping you out, this is what I would do, you guys. So start with your first bank, like Mark did. Start with the bank you went through your first loan with. They should be on top of things, okay? And they should be able to help you. If not, then yes, use one of these, Bluevine, Lendio, Kabbage I don't know if they're opening up, Kabbage, PayPal, QuickBooks, all eventually were giving out PPP loans. But I would start, Mark, by contacting Bank of America. Do you have, I don't know if I know they're a big bank, but do you have a mortgage, or not a mortgage, a lending officer who's holding your first PPP? Who's your connection for questions on your first PPP? I'd reach out to them and ask them what's going on. And if they can't give you an answer within the next couple of days, then I would recommend looking elsewhere. Just because for me, that's shoddy customer service. And I can't with shoddy customer service. But a quick timeline, you guys, on this. So I will tell you. So I took out a PPP loan. I took out a second one. And I'll tell you my timeline. And I've actually talked to probably 5 or 6 other clients, and their timeline was very similar to mine. So I just kind of want to share it with you. So I am with MidFirst Bank, and they opened up their portal on a Thursday, 19th, the 21st. Okay. They opened up their portal, allowed us to get our applications into the banks, so they could do their pre-approval. Right. So I submitted my application on that Thursday. That Friday, they said, your application looks good. We will send it to the SBA as soon as they accept them. I'm off a week. Sorry. I'm off a week. So 19, 18, 17, 16, the 15th. The 15th of January, I submitted my application. The 16th, my bank approved it. On the 19th, which was a Tuesday, I got notification that they had sent it to the bank, sent it to the SBA, and we would need some time to approve it. Friday, I got my loan documents. So Wednesday, 3 days after they sent it to the SBA, I got my loan documents. I didn't see them, didn't sign them until Saturday, got my money Monday. Okay. So by the time it went to the SBA, it was a week. It was less than a week. All right. So if there's holdups, it's happening on the front end. It's happening with the bank. And it could be that you're missing documentation, maybe you're missing support, maybe a calculation's wrong, but be communicating with your bank, because once they approve your application and send it to the SBA, it's fast. All right. April says, I am giving it to the clients and telling them to include just nice. You're talking about the 25% decrease. I totally agree, April. Just having that to give is totally, because like I said, most banks are asking for it anyway. April also says, Bluevine is open. I had a client use it and they said the process was easy and straightforward. Thank you. That is, excuse me, so helpful. Y'all, big shout out to April. April is one of our Books with Beers bookkeepers who takes care of our clients' bookkeeping needs, because we don't do bookkeeping, we do tax. And April's awesome. So I just want to give April a quick shout out. Thank you for being here, April. You're awesome. All right. Mark says, I got to their PPP area and the SBA specialist was to call back Friday, but crickets. Yeah, customer service, y'all. Customer service. Mark says, thanks. Yep, April's awesome. April's awesome. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. If you guys have them, throw them in the chat. I was trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk about. in terms of PPP, I don't think there is. Those are the big ones. Jocelyn says, Kabbage is only accepting applications from people they worked with for PPP1. Thank you. Great update. And then you guys, so a few end announcements for y'all. So the good news is that there's good news. This is one of those good news, bad news, good news. Was that a compliment sandwich? We're going to do a good news, bad news, good news thing. So the good news is that we have met capacity at BBA for new clients for the 2020 tax season. Really excited about that. I have new client we have calls, our tax discovery calls this week and next, but then our doors are closed, and that calendar, that's good. That also said, because of a lot of things that are going on, a lot of shifts we're making, a lot of just more focus on customer service, all the things that are good for our business and good for our clients. I got to take just a step back into the business a little more. It's tax season. I always have to take a bigger step back in when tax season comes, but even more so than I normally do this year, just like I said, because of everything that we're changing on our end. So hard decision was made, but my weekly trainings that I normally hold for you guys right before this Q&A, I'm going to put on hold until after tax season. I decided I could only do one or the other, and I decided that the Q&A, the updates and Q&A, was just more valuable to you guys. And so that's what I decided to keep. So I will continue to be here on Mondays at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time throughout tax season. That said, if you're like, no, I love your trainings, and I appreciate that. Couple options. One, go back and watch old ones, because a lot of what I was going to, a lot of the stuff I'm doing at the beginning of every year during tax season is kind of, a lot of it's the same every year. So go back and watch old ones. The other thing I'm really going to suggest you guys do is go check out our YouTube channel, because we spent this last weekend creating a whole bunch of content to get us through tax season. A new video will drop every Wednesday, and these are like bite-sized trainings. You guys, they're like 5 to 10 minute trainings, training videos. They're really easy to digest. The next couple weeks are all about PPP. So, we talk about getting a first loan if you need it, getting a second loan, what to do if you're overfunded. That is important. I will talk about that next week because we're out of time. But there was guidance on if you were overfunded, what to do. So those will be dropping every Wednesday. So definitely go check out the YouTube channel if you want to see more of me. Otherwise, I will still be here every Monday, 9:30 a.m. for Q&A and update. All right. So that said, I will see you guys next week. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you around. Bye, guys.